I call BS.
Hi guys, welcome to the Unpopular Opinion.
Real,
Bro,
And we're saying it all. Welcome back to the Unpopular Opinion. We're so excited you decided to spend this Saturday with us. I'm Kemi.
Claire.
Zerida.
Our guest host.
Prem, we miss you. We really miss you. Can't wait for you to get back.
But we love Zerida.
We love having Zerida here.
Yeah, everyone keeps asking, but she will be back as soon as she can. Okay? So today's episode is we call BS. Okay? We're just going to talk about a couple of things that we've had growing up, but just ain't it. Like we grew up and we're like, huh? No, it's a lie.
Can
it's
I
a
go
lie.
first?
Okay, go.
I have been dying to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Not all men cheat.
Hey,
It is BS and I am calling it. Not all men cheat.
thank you.
Like you're telling me for 2,000 years that human beings have walked this planet. Every single man that has been born has not one has kept it in his hands and remained faithful to his woman. That's BS.
Yeah, and it's such a, like, it's a thing that we say, like how we say, men are trash, all men cheat.
Yeah.
It's so general. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like putting,
It's actually really offensive. It must be really
And I think-
offensive to the ones that
and I think that also it builds a culture where guys can
get away with it.
feel like it's all right because, well, we've already been like put in that box, so might as well.
Exactly.
So
They've been taught from when they're children. Like, you know, when you're taught, that's how men are. Oh, what? No, dear.
Yeah, I think fidelity is a choice that you make.
It really, really
it's
is.
a choice. And there's been this whole misconception that infidelity is different when it's a man doing it and when it's a woman doing it. We've all heard that when women cheat, it's emotional, it has been thought out, all of these things, and then when a man cheats,
It's accidental.
just happens.
it's like nature.
No, actually,
Just-
we have the exact same impulses everyone else has.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we see attractive men all the time just as well.
It's just self-control, right?
Yeah, it's just something that you can control. So it's the same for both genders.
Thank
So
you.
if you're out there and you know they say, "Bana, you're wear uniform." The uniform people, please keep your uniform. Please keep your uniform. Not all men cheat, and that's a period.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been dying to say this because
Thank you. You put it out into the
there's a time
atmosphere.
there's a time we talked about Philip on the show, and someone actually came out and said that she can't wait for Philip to show me.
Shame.
You know, that
For
was
shame.
like
Shame
oh
on
my
you,
word.
whoever
like
you
people
are.
are actually there
shame.
waiting. Like, listen.
So you're rubbing your hands in glee, hoping.
Like, he just can't wait. Let me tell you, you're gonna wait a long time.
Period. You have said your piece. What do you call
Um,
BS on?
I call BS on if you're not married by 30 and you're a woman, you have failed at life. I call BS.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Someone recently asked me about, so the question was, don't you worry that the dating pool is getting smaller as you get older? And I said, no, actually, I think that the dating pool is getting bigger because those of us who got there first, we're back in the pool. We're coming back. And we're back as better quality people.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Because when I think of myself when I got married the first time when I was 23, I was a terrible partner. Yeah, I mean, I'm a much better partner now after all the work I've done and all the learning that I've done. I think that, and I think it's the same for everyone.
Yeah.
Including the men,
Yeah, including the men. Yeah, and anyway, like I said, the ones who got there first, but we're back in the pool now.
We are together, all of us.
It gets better from
I
here.
recommend.
Yeah, so I call BS. If you're out there and you're 30, late 20s, 30s, 40s even, and you're not married, you have not failed at life. Yeah.
Amen to that. I call BS on the whole go to school, get a job in an office thing. Absolutely not. It's just it's so general. It's not for everybody. It really, really isn't. So many people have other paths that are not in an office.
There's no one way to do life.
There's really just no one way. So the whole, actually just that whole structure of go to school, get a degree, then you get a husband and a house and a kid and a dog, and a job in an office.
Yeah.
It's not the only way to go.
It doesn't go like that for
Yeah.
everybody. So
And if you feel like it's not for you, you don't have to
yeah, I hope.
give in to the pressure. You know?
Yeah, I hope that I hope you that is watching finds the confidence to just rebel, be a little bit rebellious,
A bit
and do your
rebellious.
thing.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I call BS on people who say that if you are divorced, no man, especially to women, not to men, no man ever says
no
it
one
to
says
women,
that to the men.
that no man will ever marry you
It's
or
a lie.
want you. It's a lie. Girl, twice now. It's not even a brag,
Yeah.
actually. It's
just
I know
not the
so
way
many
life
divorced
is.
women who come into my DMs and they're like, Claire, you give me so much hope and stuff. There are men out there who are actually good enough to see past these labels that society has given us.
It's just the thing that happens.
It's
just a
a
thing
thing
that
that happens,
happens.
and no one, a lot of people. There's a time I was speaking to a group of people, and someone said that the two of you have to be very selfish to that's what led to that divorce. And I'm like, you're speaking from a point of privilege, and the privilege is actually not that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you're speaking from a point of privilege where you have been married to someone that you are able to walk with and actually figure things out with. Not everyone gets that privilege. Do you understand? Like, I need you to recognize your privilege. And then when you see someone that's divorced, don't automatically think they're very difficult people.
Yeah, or selfish.
Don't
or
think
it's
they're
actually not an
selfish.
easy thing
It's
to
not
do
it's
at all.
actually
It's not an
really
easy
difficult.
decision to
Yes.
come to.
People don't just
It's
wake up.
easier to stay in a bad marriage than to leave.
Yeah.
And most people don't think that. So when you say, no, people do the easy thing, let me tell you, as an experienced one, it's not easy to walk out of my marriage.
Yeah.
And do not scare women into thinking that they're going to be alone. Staying is the only option, or that they're going to be alone. Now who's going to marry you? First of all, I'm already married. I'm not thinking about my next marriage. I need to figure
You're thinking about peace of mind.
Exactly.
But also, there are people out there who choose to be alone.
Yeah.
It's just
Thank you.
easier
And it's
for
okay.
them,
They're fine.
and there's nothing wrong with them. They're
Genuinely
not broken.
okay.
They
They're
are
just
not.
thinking.
That's
just their part.
She left the first husband. Now she's there alone. Like it's really not that. It's not that.
Being alone isn't necessarily being lonely.
No.
I think that's being single is not even being alone.
Yeah.
It's people talk about it like everyone in your life has died, like as if you're just there on an island alone.
Also, sometimes relationships don't work, right? It's not shameful. It's not a mark, like a red scarlet letter on your face.
It's the
that
same
happens.
way if you have
Something that's wrong with you. Sometimes relationships don't work. Irreconcilable differences are a real thing, right? Sometimes two people, they're both not horrible. They just don't fit together, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Right?
So stop shaming,
So
or
it's
stop
fine.
looking down, or stop saying things about divorcees or divorcees that you have no idea about. Yeah.
Well
so
said.
I call BS.
Yeah, period.
Okay, I'll go back. Mine is a little bit close to what Fiona said earlier, that I call BS on the fact that the grade on your paper is everything in
Thank
life,
you.
right? It's not. There is life outside of the grade on your paper, especially to the younger people.
Yeah.
I feel like the most important thing I learned in school was just to be confident and thinking outside of the box and just making my own way, right? If I could go back now, and I'd probably study English because it was easy, and maybe I'd do art because I would enjoy myself, and then maybe computer, just because,
We need it.
But everything else that I learned in school was an absolute waste of my time.
Well said.
Yeah. And I really haven't used any of
Like
it.
you'll never have to find
I'm still
X
waiting
ever
for
again.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting for Pythagoras
As for
theory
X,
to
to become relevant in your
in my life.
X
So
was
it
a
was an
challenge.
absolute waste of my
Like,
time.
we looked for X our entire school career.
Look, I feel yeah, but being in a space, like, I'm really glad that my parents chose a school where we got to develop all the other things, because that's what I'm using in my life now.
Like practical.
Right?
Yeah.
So all the times I was threatened that I did not sleep in my books, or that, To my teachers, your threats did not work. I am flourishing. I am not poor. And I will not be.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
So
And you know, the funny thing is that even the people who did so well in school, hi Vanessa, and the rest of us who really didn't, like literally you guys, I had a basket of F9s every term. Every time I'd have there was a line divide. There was like distinctions and then there was the F9. The sciences, I dropped sciences, as I always say very confidently, in S1 second term. I was like, there is no way this is going to be relevant. My life I dropped and I'm okay. So, and I'm not encouraging people not to try in school. I'm just saying if you're not good at school, it's not the end.
It's not the end. It doesn't mean you don't have
by all means try. By all means exert yourself because it does give you some kind of advantage as you're getting older, but it's not everything. So if you're academically challenged, if it's not or you're not good in some subjects, it is not the end of the world. You are absolutely not a failure. Yeah.
I call BS on period shame. Yeah. I love that we're having those conversations so much more now. It's such a beautiful thing. You guys, growing up, do you remember that thing of as if you're dirty? I
remember I used to carry my pad in my hand to go to the bathroom to change it. And everyone I would pass would just
oh my God. It even gives me...
I'm a woman.
It gives me goosebumps because I remember when we were... Because most of us, at least me and my friends got our period when we were 13, 12, and it was such a scary thing. You'd be there, then you tell your friend, come and sit me, I'm going to just do like this, and you tell me, and then oh my God, you have to move. Then it would be a whole group thing of now someone get for her sweater, then we all squat each other, then the boys are peeping. There was so much shame, so much shame. I hope that younger girls don't have to experience that. It was such a dirty, horrible thing.
Something secretive that's shaming.
It's so awful.
Yeah, and God forbid you stain. I remember I had that experience once when I was 11. I started my period when I was 10 and a half. And so this one time it was an exam. And I think I didn't know how to time the things. And whatever. It was probably my fifth, sixth
figuring
period.
it out. Yeah.
And so at the end of the exam, I stood up and I had, spotted. And so there was a whole group, the rest of the class made a clique. Someone saw it and went and told a bunch of people. And so there was a committee and I wasn't part of the committee. So I figured it had to be something about me. And then they sent this one girl, Barbara, to come and tell me. And she came and she's like, so I don't know how to tell you that, and I'm just like, of course I knew. In that moment, I knew what was going on. And I didn't even want to show my face.
You were mortified.
So I went down to the director of the school and she wrote on a note very secretively and she stapled it and sent it, told me to take it to the library, told another teacher to take it to the library, and they also opened very secretly, and then she gave me an envelope. I think she had put a pad or whatever. And then I went back to the director's office and the director washed my panty, washed my uniform, ironed it, whatever. But all of this, I feel as adults, they should have just told me it's fine.
Okay. And told the other
everyone
kids as well.
It's not that big a deal. Yeah. But they also treated it oh my God, that's top. I was even exempted from doing the afternoon exam because I think we had math in the morning and the science in the afternoon. And they allowed me to just stay in the office and I did my exam another time.
Yeah. But even talking to boys about shaming girls, because I remember this one time at school at an assembly, and this boy, he was a known bully. But me na school. You don't shame me. Okay, I'll feel ashamed, but you will not know it.
Yeah.
And I will shame you right back. So this time I'm about 11 when I just started my period and I was indeed in my period and this boy tells me, he didn't know I was in my period. I didn't spot or anything. He was just using it as a thing. Then he told me, that's why you're in your period. Do you know what I told him? I turned around and that's why you're wet dreaming. And I moved on. But I was so ashamed. He never did it again. But I was so ashamed. I felt like I just wanted to stop. I just wanted it to stop. I did not want to have a period again because this is something, and when you identify something that someone can do to emotionally hurt you,
they'll not stop using it.
They won't stop using it. So that's for me that it was just now as an adult, I even get goosebumps. I have a girl child, so I hope that no one ever shames her for being a woman,
for just being
a woman, and. So talk to your boy children, the girl children as well, but also the boys need to understand that because even I shouldn't have been able to shame him for his dreams because he has them. We know
you felt like you needed to defend yourself,
I was defending myself, and I knew that was a hot spot.
It's an unending cycle.
Yes, a sore spot as well. So even I shouldn't have been have been aware that that's a so. It's okay. Boys have wet dreams and they get sperm. Girls have periods and whatever, it's okay. It shouldn't be a big deal,
Yeah, so just like BS to period shame. I'm so happy that every time I see like on the internet people are talking about it so much more openly. I'm so happy. I'm like, I'm glad younger women are seeing it and it's there.
Yeah,
period. So what?
Life,
like calm down.
So this is probably going to be very unpopular, especially in the Christian circles, but just
Girl,
so you know, I'm
say
Christian too. But I call BS, and because I've had it in a lot of circles that as a mom, as a parent, I'm saying this as a mom, that if you don't beat your children or spank them or discipline them in that kind of way, then you are not loving them, or that you are sparing the rod. You know what I mean? So you know how the Bible says, spare the rod, you spoil the child. I choose to believe that it's a figurative rod. And it's a rod of direction, not of pain, in my opinion. So I would say that like a lot of women are ashamed that you're not, you have to, spank them.
It's your God-given
it's your God-given responsibility and stuff like that. And you're not showing them the way. I was like, no, there are gentler ways to discipline your children.
I mean, even, like with a shepherd, there's some who will hit, but if you saw someone hitting an animal,
feel like they're bullying.
They can also use that rod to guide
someone in a bigger position. In my opinion, this is entirely my opinion, and I don't judge people who don't. I just judge people who judge us who choose not
to use violence. To each their own. If you've chosen this,
please don't judge or don't shame. We are also Christians. We also follow the same Bible. We choose a different rod. We just choose a different kind of rod. So I feel like just because a child, like how would you feel if that child took that stick and hit you when you do something wrong?
Or how did you feel?
How did you feel when you were being hit
by someone who has more authority over you?
Yeah, or if God hit us, let's say. He's bigger than us, he has the authority. Yeah. Or if the authority, which is the man in the home, beats you as a woman. You get, because essentially you're supposed to respect him. Mistakes happen, you get. And children are just being children when they do the things they do. You get. So guiding them gently, with a rod of discipline does not mean beat. A rod can actually just guide that this is the wrong way, go back.
But also not beating doesn't mean that there's no consequence for your child.
Thank you. I think it's actually such a whole topic. Like I feel we probably need like an episode, because even me, like when I hear people talk about it and these ones they didn't beat them, another, I'm like, guys, me, I wasn't beaten. Yeah. And I turned out just fine. And so did my siblings. I'm like, honestly, we're disciplined kids. I'm like, I don't think it's black and white like that if you beat them, it will be this, and if you don't, it's this. I was like, there's so many nuances.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because they're not being beaten, it doesn't mean they're not being disciplined in so many other ways. It's a whole topic, but I agree with you. And I think it's also not limited to the Christian community. It's a societal, it's a tradition of like, for us, Africans, beating,
Yeah, because I've seen so many people in my DMs when I've spoken lightly about it. And people are like, but, we feel so, like people come to us and say, you're spoiling your children if you don't beat them, if you don't punish and things like that. But there are gentler ways. There are other ways.
Truly.
And you can actually read about it online. You
get. Thank you. People think
and stuff. We're all human beings. We're all the same, It's not, do what you want, absolutely, but please don't also respect
other people's choices.
Also, all the children are different, and what could work for some children isn't. I have a friend who was quite tough on his child, this one child. It was fine with the other two, but the one child shrunk. The child did something, and he felt like he needed to be like really tough about it so that it doesn't happen again. But he said that since that time, his relationship with that child has never been the same, and he's spent years trying to get that again. But now when he walks into a room, the child,
like withdraws.
or if the child does the smallest thing when the father walks in, and he says to me all the time that I regret
doing that,
right? And that was an eye-opener for him. He's never done that with any of them again. He had to go and research and find other ways of disciplining his children because of that.
Now, just think about it, being beaten for a mistake. Even if you continually make the same mistake, imagine someone beating you for every mistake that you make.
Yeah,
That's cool.
because we're human, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's your thing that you call BS on?
I call BS on always prioritizing peace in relationships. I think that for a lot of us, especially from our background, we do not rock the boat nearly enough, which in a sense okays a lot of bad manners, a lot of BS. Yeah. So we come from a background where peace is the priority, right? Meaning that if you do something to me, Fiona, as my friend, peace comes first. But what that means is I'm okaying whatever it is, and then people are going to walk all over you and all of these things. So it's okay to draw limits.
Yeah.
It's okay to set boundaries. And this goes, for me, it's been a thing with like older relatives. Older people in our society always feel like they can come at you anyhow,
True.
just because they're older, and culturally you can't say anything. No, honey, I'm an adult the same way that you are, and so I'm going to call you out on it. Yeah, your age does not make it okay for you to disrespect. Respect is earned.
Yes.
Respect is
Well
earned.
said.
I don't care if you're my aunt or my uncle or some other older person. I am going to call you out on it. I'm not afraid to rock that boat. So I used to think that avoidance of conflict was a conflict management
Like
skill.
tool.
Yes, it absolutely isn't. The conflict hasn't gone anywhere. You've just ignored it.
You just like
And many times it just gets bigger. It just gets bigger.
Yeah,
It really does.
So
later.
call people out on their bad behavior.
And you know, because
Let them know.
because of the environment we live in, Ugandans, we just tiptoe around each
around
other.
everything, but relationships grow when you put things on the table and deal with them.
Like, let's do this.
And this goes for your relationship with your parents, your relationships with your children, with your friends, with your spouse. Put the uncomfortable conversations on the table. It will be uncomfortable to begin with, but it helps everyone. You grow.
Yeah, I know there are tools to figure out stuff like that. And even the card game that we were doing.
Was amazing.
Can we talk about? It's a fantastic game. Like, little tools like that can really help you because we've not grown up doing it. Sometimes you need like some little tools to kind of nudge you in that direction. Be intentional about finding the tools that you need to put those things on the table, to have those uncomfortable conversations, so that you're not just sitting on things 1 year, 2 years. Yeah, you hate each other. We are keeping quiet. That type of arrangement.
Something someone told me a very long time ago that has helped me navigate difficult conversations is they said, speak to the person, whether it's your spouse or whatever, as if you are bringing up an issue with your boss, right? So
okay, like as if
when you talk to your boss, if your boss does something that you don't like,
you can't just
first of all, you're going to go and think about whether or not you have to bring it up, right? Is it that big a deal? And if you decide that it is that big a deal, you're going to really think about how to bring it up. You're probably even going to ask some people, like, what do you think if I tell him this or that? How will this sound?
Yeah.
Come to the table with that kind of attitude. It makes it so much easier to not be offensive, to find a productive way. Yeah, because sometimes we've also, in this whole thing of fighting for our rights or whatever, we've made it okay to say what we want, how we want.
Yeah,
which is
you're
right.
approaching
It's
badly.
not productive.
Yeah.
You
Doesn't
don't
help anyone.
If you're saying something just because I want to say it, like I want to tell you, oh, you have a big head. Is it useful?
Who has it helped?
It's not
Actually,
useful.
just like then multiplies whatever
Exactly.
problem is already there.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then everyone is offended. It's
Yeah.
like more offense on
Yeah.
top of the next. On top
Yeah,
of the
but I
next.
call BS on sweeping uncomfortable things under the rug.
I feel like that should be our motto on the Unpopular Opinion. We're all about that. Like,
Yeah.
I call BS on I don't know, I wasn't sure how to phrase it, but I feel like when we were growing up there's an unhealthy fear of God that was instilled in us. It's more of like trembling as opposed to reverence and respect. It's like, oh my God, fear God in this way of like, God is just there waiting to strike you at any moment. I feel like it's only as I got older that I started to understand God in a more loving aspect.
Yeah, as a loving
When
father.
you're young, it's just like, anytime you're going to break a glass and God is going to strike you.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm
This
so
God
afraid.
also, yes.
And everything's
It's
so
so sad.
scary.
Yeah.
And yet I feel like it wasn't communicated to us and like God is loving, like there's this fullness and like, and so it starts to make religion also look so negative and faith look so negative. And yet it's actually a very loving place, So I don't like that angle of like sharing faith with people, like as though you're going to be cast into the hellfire. And why don't we communicate love? Because that's the primary thing, that God is love. That's
that's
You
the
can only
core.
have faith
His
in someone you
definition.
love.
Yeah, it's like
You can't have faith
feel
in
like-
someone you fear.
Yeah, like the loving aspect gets so lost, and then fear is taken in this wrong, I think, way. Like it's supposed to be more of like a reverence, a respect of like I honor you type
I
thing.
feel like the fear aspect almost even takes away the free will.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you
you're
start
so
to not
afraid.
do things because you want to,
Mhm.
but it's
Right,
just
because
because
you
you
don't
want
want
to
to get going to
avoid
fire.
Yeah, you're like,
the
the fire.
repercussion, and that's
Yeah,
not
and
what
yet
he
when
wants.
you have the choice, that's actually when you can truly obey.
And that's
Of, like
what
me,
he
I've
wants.
chosen.
Yeah.
I have choices,
Yeah.
but I've chosen this.
Yeah.
So I hate that. I think I wish that more, the way that we are expressing those things to people, especially young people,
Yeah.
just like in a more loving and warm way, because that's actually what is like
It's
in
what
there,
keeps you
like at the
there,
core.
and
So like BS and all that, oh hellfire, that kind of preaching, I feel like is taking away from faith, and it just
and the whole experience.
and just like the love, the community, people start to see church as this scary, horrible place. It's supposed to be like a loving community.
Can you imagine to children who don't understand and yet they make mistakes inevitably?
Yeah, it's so scary.
Really
You start
scary
fearing
for
God,
kids.
and then you're like, let me leave this God thing. I don't want to be living
when
in
you
fear.
Grow up, because you this whole time as you're growing up, you're doing all these things that you inevitably do. You can't help it.
Yeah. So it takes away from your sense of self-worth. You feel unworthy. You feel less than. And yet you're human, you're imperfect.
Yeah, because God acknowledges all of those things, like that these are imperfect people who I love anyway.
And if your human, imperfect, physical father can give you and
Imagine.
give you 1,000 chances, how much more so the perfect?
But to preach in this place, guys.
Your heart sees all of these things.
Yeah.
Yes, it has become a preaching.
Glory.
Who would have thunk? Anyway, I think my next one would be, you know how when you get married, the singer sessions, and even more experienced married people will say to you, if your man wants sex anytime, just give him. You don't have to be in the mood. I call BS. We are not machines. We are not machines.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, can you talk? What?
That for you
Have you
just
ever
there.
laid down and had sex involuntarily, volunteering? Like, it is a horrible experience. Do you understand? First of all, maybe talk to the men and let them figure out why, if you're a woman, why does she want to have sex? Do you get what I mean? The conversation should be the other way, not forcing women to have sex when they don't want to. You get just because man?
That it's a responsibility.
No. It's a responsibility of the husband to find out, to figure out why I don't want to have sex.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so unfair, and a lot of women have such terrible experiences. Terrible, terrible experiences. They'll never say it. But for them, they know when the man wants
You
you,
just
you get it.
give it up.
And then you have this.
And the responsibility is not
it's
equally
not equally
given
shared
on the other side.
exactly.
No.
Yeah,
'Cause
because
there's all that
if he
pressure.
really wants you, he should take the time to make
find
sure you're
out.
in the mood,
Yeah.
Mm.
right?
Exactly.
To set
So
the
it's
scene.
Yeah.
Because
mutual.
we
It's
do
mutual.
not turn on a switch the way
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah,
Right?
a whole
So
process.
he's fine. You don't, you probably shouldn't say no or what. Not that
Yeah.
you shouldn't say no, but granted, you want to have sex with your partner. That's why you're in
The
the
relationship.
partnership. But he should make it his business
To make
find
sure you're
out,
both
yes, to
enjoying
make
it.
sure that
Yeah.
he gets you there because
I
he
feel
can.
so pained when I hear. I feel so pained because first of all, it's painful physically to have sex when you don't want to. For women, it's extremely excruciating. Now, of course, it will be pleasurable for the man, but this is a give and take,
Yeah, because for
not
them,
a
a hole is a hole.
give. Yeah,
Mhm.
So it's that trauma that we're facing. So how? Anyway, for me, it just pains me so
Yeah,
much.
it's very sad. You
No,
hear a lot
it's
of
sad.
women who pretend they're on their periods
Yeah.
for 10 days
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
just because they want to get out of.
To pretend to be
Yeah.
sick
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It is bordering on rape, you guys. It's giving rape.
No, but marital rape is a real thing.
It's a real thing, and these are the
feels-
reasons actually.
Gentlemen,
why.
if you're watching this, it feels like rape. It really does.
For a lot of people.
For a lot of women. To have sex when you don't want to, it feels. So the onus is on you to find out, okay, she's not in the mood,
What can you do
What
to
can
put her
you
in the
do?
mood?
Did you piss her off? What? First of all, why are you climbing on top of me when you pissed me off this morning? Have you apologized? At some point we have to expect something
Yeah.
from the guys as
Yeah.
well.
Your
True.
partner's
can't-
pleasure
yeah,
is
it's
absolutely your business.
key.
Yeah.
It's your business, not theirs.
And those are the
So
conversations,
I call
the difficult
complete business,
conversations.
Yes, come and tell and ask her. But why are you not enjoying? Are
Mm.
you first of all ask your woman? I challenge gentlemen. Ask your woman, do you enjoy sex? Genuinely, have a very open conversation. You might be surprised what you find out. If you give her an open flow,
like a
without
safe space to just like.
you might actually be surprised what you
Yeah.
find out. So it's just, I call BS on telling women to have, no, it's actually, you don't have to. You need to talk to your husband. I'm not saying don't have sex ever. I'm saying have communication. If you don't want to, you should be able to speak, to talk to your partner,
Yeah.
and figure it out together. Yeah.
Amen.
I call BS on the fact that exploring sexuality as women makes them whores. I call absolute BS because as a woman, we need to have these conversations, right? And because that's the only way that you will know. You need to know what works for you, what works for your body. There's nothing wrong with it. So having these conversations openly, it even is what opens you up to being able to have these conversations with your partner, right? And just you being able to share with your partner that, touch me like this or do that. A lot of women are afraid to share that information because they feel like it's going to make them look like they've been around, or it's going to make them look like a whore, like she said. And that's absolute BS, right? Sex is a gift. And it's something that's supposed to bring you pleasure, right? And the only way that you're going to accentuate this pleasure is to explore yourself, literature, conversations with other women. Like I remember for the longest time I thought that squirting was peeing, right?
Man, even me, I had no idea. I used to get confused.
But then I went to a party once and these ladies were talking about it and, just learning the difference between pee and whatever comes out when you squirt, right? Because this is not things that people talk about. Where will you find this information if you don't talk about it? You're not going to learn it from your male partner because he probably doesn't know, he doesn't have the same anatomy you do, right? So there is no shame. There is no shame in telling your partner, we try it this way, maybe this time touch me a little lighter.
or let's try this other position because we've been doing this other one a whole lot of times. And men, wherever you are, stop shaming women for exploring their sexuality. We're every bit as sexual as you are, right? Contrary to whatever it is you guys tell yourselves or whatever else it is that you've been told, right? We're every bit as sexual as you are. We have every right to enjoy the experience as you do. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. Yeah, we should talk about it more.
Absolutely.
I feel like, how else do you learn?
Yeah, and you learn
You
so much.
and
And
you
you
know
know the
that
lead of this
so
topic.
many people, you see, some people have been married so many years and they've never enjoyed sex because they've never talked about it. They've never.
Because it's so like taboo. It's so
Is
like
it
taboo.
When everybody's having
God made sex, by the way.
Yeah,
you
God
didn't
made
get
sex.
here by
It's- I mean,
osmosis. Even your grandparents
Yeah, by
had
osmosis.
sex.
like orgasms were put there intentionally. You get it was an intention. God decided, let me make them enjoy it. It's not just so. Even procreation is not just a fwa.
Yeah, your grandparents didn't get here by osmosis.
it's supposed to be enjoyed, and orgasm is there. The same reason your eyes are there to see. The orgasm is there to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shows that have popped up recently, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
The Principles of Pleasure. You guys have on
Netflix?
Netflix.
Yeah,
It's on
I watched
Netflix.
it.
And as they're talking about it, there's like different women giving their experiences, and they're exploring female sexual anatomy. I know grown women. A friend of mine, the one who recommended the show to me, she learnt that day that her vulva was her vulva. She was always calling it vagina because a lot of people know that all the female genitalia is vagina.
Into a vagina.
Right? So they go in to break down all of these things and suggest different ways that a woman can find pleasure. And these are things that, like, the women on the show are giving like accounts. Women from all walks of life, from all parts of the world. And it's a thing. Female pleasure is underexplored all over the world. And we just need to start
prioritize male
having
pleasure.
this conversation.
Yeah, even on
There's
culture,
another
it's
one
just-
that I forget what it's called. It's called Sex, Love and Goop, or Love, Sex and Goop. This one explores the different ways we feel. You know, like how they say love languages? It's kind of like your sexual languages, your sexual blueprint. So there's people who, I learned that I am an energetic. My sex language is energetic. And so I like the build up, right? Talk to me nicely through the day, anticipation, that kind of thing. There's people who enjoy bondage. There's people who enjoy, there's lots of different things. And it's important that people know the way we know our love languages. You can also know your sexual blueprint because it helps your partner understand how to, communicate with you in that way.
So if you like, if you like being tied up, absolutely communicate that. First time I told my husband I like to be tied, he was like, "Excuse me." Now we got over it after some time. But not tied is in bondage.
But if
I'm
you're
not quite
into
there. But if
that
you're into it,
also,
we don't-
it's
we
fine.
don't-
But you need to communicate that and find a way to
The communication
work
is the thing.
Cufflinks.
as
If you
a
like
couple.
cufflinks, absolutely go for it. Handcuffs. If you like handcuffs, absolutely go for it. It's absolutely up to you. Communicate.
Yeah. Okay, I think that communication is still the underlying.
But those are your two
It's what's
recommendations.
cutting through. Yeah.
I
So, but those are
recommend-
really interesting, and I feel like that definitely people want to know. I'm also intrigued, like, to know what that's about. But yeah, guys, those are just a couple of things that we call BS on, and we want to hear what you are calling BS on. Let us know in the comments. A big shout out to the people that dress us because we're looking cute out here.
Let's drink to that, guys.
Okay.
Let's drink to that.
Let's drink
that.
to
Gordon, thank you for the sponsorship.
Choo Choo and Co. Thank you for this lovely outfit.
And Bold in Africa. Wow. Guys, go to these people, go to the description box, go to the link and buy yourself some really gorgeous pieces from Choo Choo and Co. And for myself and Zerida, Bold in Africa.
Yeah, we'll just leave all the info. Guys always ask us, where is this from? We're going to, like, now we are serious and we are leaving you all the information in the description box. Yeah, and a big shout out, of course, this beautiful space where we shoot Modern Living. All the accessories and furniture, all this stuff is for Modern Living. They do just like the most beautiful Ugandan made furniture. Highly recommend. Description box as well, and subscribe, because guys, this relationship, just seal it. Let's marry by subscribing. Let's get married tonight. We can't just date all the time. Dating for how long? Okay. But we love you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.